Stick was fast asleep, dreaming of being a world-famous biscuit taster. He reached for a giant cookie, smiling a sleepy, happy smile. Then it happened. A sound. A terrible sound. Beep, beep, beep. It was not a biscuit sound. Stick's eyes popped open. His dream vanished. The beep was coming from his bedside table. It was his alarm clock, his very, very annoying alarm clock. Stick groaned. Oh no, not again. Every morning it was the same. This clock seemed to enjoy waking him up. Stick pulled his tiny Stickman pillow over his head, but the beep, beep, beep went right through it. The sound was determined. It wanted Stick to be awake, very awake, right now. He peeked one eye from under the pillow. The clock's numbers glowed brightly. 6 a.m., far too early for a Stickman, especially a Stickman who had been dreaming of biscuits. The clock seemed to wink at him, or maybe that was just the light flashing. Beep, beep, beep. It continued, relentless, unstoppable. Stick decided to try the simple way first. He reached out a wobbly stick arm. His fingers aimed for the big button on top, the snooze button. He pressed it. Boop, the beep, beep, beep stopped. Ah, sweet silence. Stick sighed with relief. He snuggled back under his thin Stickman blanket. Peace at last. But the peace did not last long. Maybe 10 seconds, then beep, 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 it was back! Louder this time. Stick jumped. His tiny Stickman heart went thump, thump. That naughty clock, it was playing tricks. The snooze button was a fibber, a big red buttony fibber. Stick frowned his biggest Stickman frown. This was not fair at all. He tried again. He jabbed the snooze button. Jab, jab, jab. The beeping stopped. Then it started again. Beep, beep, beep. This clock was a cheeky monkey. Stick thought hard. What else could he do? He looked at the back of the clock. There was a little wire, the power wire. Aha, thought Stick. He would pull the plug. No power, no beep. Simple. With great effort, Stick leaned over the edge of his bed. His stick fingers grasped the plug. Stick was getting cross. Very cross indeed. This clock was a menace. He needed a new plan, a more drastic plan. He looked around his little Stickman room. His eyes landed on his glass of water. It was on his bedside table, next to the dreadful clock. An idea sparked in his pointy Stickman head, a rather wet idea. He smiled a mischievous smile. He picked up the annoying clock. It was still beeping, of course. Beep, 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 mocking him. He held it over the glass of water. One last chance, he muttered to the clock. The clock just beeped louder, as if to say, go on, I dare you. So, Stick did. He dropped the clock into the glass of water. Splash! Water went everywhere, all over his bedside table, all over his Stickman pajamas. But surely the clock would stop now. Surely. The beeping stopped. For a moment, Stick held his breath. Then, glub, beep, glub, beep. The clock was beeping underwater. Little bubbles came up with each beep. Glub, beep, glub, beep. Stick felt his Stickman shoulders slump. Water had not worked. Pulling the plug had not worked. The snooze button was a traitor. What was a tired Stickman to do? He looked at his bed. It was piled high with soft things. Pillows, blankets, his favorite teddy bear, Stuffy. An idea began to form. A soft, fluffy idea. He would muffle the clock. He would bury it. Deep, deep down where its beeps could not escape. He grabbed the dripping, beeping clock. Beep! 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 It sang, completely unbothered by its recent swim. Stick pulled back his duvet. He dug a hole in the middle of his mattress. Well, not a real hole, more of a nest. He placed the clock inside. Then he piled everything on top. His pillow went first, then another pillow, then his thickest Stickman blanket, then Stuffy the bear for extra soundproofing. He stood back and admired his work. A mountain of softness, silence, sweet, beautiful silence. Had he finally done it? Had he finally conquered the beeping beast? Stick did a little dance, a tiny, happy Stickman jig. He put his ear close to the mountain of blankets. He listened. Nothing. Stick was now officially frustrated. His Stickman face was red. Well, as red as a Stickman face could get. He stomped his little Stickman foot. This clock was impossible. It was indestructible. It was too clever for him, but Stick was not a quitter. Oh no, he was a determined Stickman. He marched to his little Stickman cupboard. He opened it. Inside was his Stickman toolbox. It was time for serious action. He pulled out his smallest Stickman hammer. It was very light. It was more of a tapper than a hammer. He also took out a tiny screwdriver. He returned to the beeping, vibrating clock. It had almost freed itself from the blanket mountain. Beep, beep, beep! It screamed triumphantly. Stick glared at it. Right, he said, holding up the hammer. Let's see you beep after this. He tapped the clock gently. Tap, tap, tap. He didn't want to break it, just silence it. The clock did not seem to mind the tapping. Stick was at his wit's end. His stickman brain felt like scrambled eggs, scrambled by beeps. He had tried everything: gentle methods, wet methods, soft methods, tool-based methods. Nothing worked. The clock was still there, still beeping. Beep, beep, beep. It was louder than ever. It was prouder than ever. It was like it had won every round of their battle. Stick felt a surge of stickman rage, a tiny but powerful rage. He had one last desperate idea, a very dramatic idea. He grabbed the clock. He marched to his window. He flung the window open. Fresh air rushed in. It felt good, but not as good as silence would feel. He held the clock high above his head. "This is it, you noisy nuisance," he yelled. "Prepare for takeoff." And with all his stickman might, he threw the clock out of the window. Whee! It sailed through the air, tumbling end over end, beeping all the way. Stick watched it go. It flew quite far. Over the little stickman garden, past Mr. Grumbles' prize-winning gnome. It was getting smaller and smaller. Stick stared at the clock. The clock sat on the table, beeping merrily. Beep, beep, beep. It looked quite pleased with itself. Stick felt empty. He had no more ideas, no more plans, no more fight left in him. He had been outsmarted, outmaneuvered, outbeeped. He slumped onto his bed. He was too tired to be angry anymore. He was just defeated. He looked at the clock, the red, shiny, infuriatingly cheerful clock. Then something amazing happened. The clock stopped beeping, just like that. Mid-beep, silence. Stick blinked. Was it broken? Had it finally run out of beeps? He waited. He listened. Nothing. The red light was still on, but the noise was gone. Stick cautiously poked it, still silent. He picked it up. He shook it gently, still nothing. He was confused. What was going on? Had he won by giving up? That didn't seem right. Then the clock's digital display changed. The numbers vanished. Words appeared instead.